So must be find out, must reliable person to find out. I have several reliable person in China, my friend is.
Mm.
That's very important.
But they're also great, isn't it?
Depend on people, but for me, this, they are good, right? But I took one big mistake, pick one wife, is so bad one, black one. But that is very exceptional, unfortunately. But usually never happen like that, right? But Chinese cases, sort of things happen.
Right.
But if going to be lied, but that is in this case no way. If you believe them, you should believe them. Okay, I should not believe them, but you should believe them. But in the case of betrayed, but no way. Right? You cannot find out they are honest person or not. Very difficult to find out. Okay, go.
Right. Okay, so basically, what they would normally do is define. When they're preparing a Western delegation, they would look at, okay, what are our key interests? So prior to the negotiation, and they always have this paper in front of them to check and see where they're going, how they're moving, updating the current situation. What are our key interests? What strategy are we going to follow? Which tactics? Which are good cop, bad cop? Or take it or leave it, or
I thought this right. I thinking about whether I can make a negotiation presentation or not. If I can speak out on this slide for 10 minutes, I can't do that. Oh my God, I can't make a negotiation seminar by myself. This is, we have special skill. Go ahead.
Okay, so you not only do it for your side, you also do it from the other side, because you need to see, okay, where are we moving? This is actually this would normally be the task of the observer to update. Yeah.
What, you take a video?
No.
I can share the
Facebook.
Right. So I can share the presentation, the whole slide with you. So be aware where you are, where they are, and see whether you need to adjust your strategy, yes or no. And also, it's a fact-finding thing, because you will probably not know exactly what their key interests are. Only during the negotiation, you will say, okay, you make assumptions. So we said, I think that probably their key interest is to get this raw material in this quantity as quickly as possible. That's our assumption. But you don't know this, so you try during the negotiation, we need to figure out more about this and that, so that we can actually know how to change our strategy or tactics accordingly. Right, so that's basically the when it comes to vision, you make these assumptions. You are defining your own strategy based on the assumptions you make on the other side. You look at the positions, you look at the underlying interests, and you're going to change your strategy and tactics according to what you figure out from the other side. So it's a very strategic, very psychologic approach to negotiation. Okay, so this is the workshop. We're not engaging in this workshop. So now moving to the next quarter, looking at value. So in terms of the customer that we looked at before, customers looking for value for money, looking for get the best deal for their money. So what you do is you list the specific objectives that you and your counterpart have for the negotiation. So these are assumptions, like in the beginning. Then you're going to make assumptions about, okay, what do we think that we can give to the other side that will be of great benefit to them? So if I assume that they want to have this raw material as quickly as possible, and I have actually things in stock, then delivery could be something that is not very hard for us to give, but could be very valuable to the other side. On the other hand, what is important for my side is bottom line. I need to make sure that we make our margins and to make our profit numbers. So I will actually need to be strict on the price. So I'm going to try to exchange price for delivery, for example, or quality or things like that. So if quality is of a major concern, then it would not be difficult for me to actually have a specialist come in to actually look at the raw materials, make an assessment, and give a certificate of quality so that they reduce their risk if that is important to them. That doesn't cost me a lot because I know that the quality that I have is good. So this is a concession that I can make in exchange for something else that I want back. So these are the things that you're going to think about prior to negotiation. How can we create value? Things that are important. So what do I need from them? Is I need a good price. For example, I need immediate payment because my liquidity is not that good at the moment. So I need immediate payment on my deal. And by the way, the Q1 is almost about to end. So I need to also make my sales figures. So I want to deal quickly. Right, so these are the things that you can you're going to put on paper as assumptions that you're going to use for the negotiation. To actually, in the early stages, to start to exchange low value for high value and high value for low value, in order to basically raise the value of the deal for both sides. So not focusing on I want this price, I want this quantity, I want this and that, but basically, okay, how can we, if we are work together, how can we create the best solution? So basically, if we wouldn't communicate, we wouldn't be able to create this value. So what you need to do here is to actually be open about what your interests are, and try to make the other side also to be open what their interests are. Now, of course, there is a prisoner's dilemma, and Kimosan knows what that is, and I think also you know what it is, right, Kimosan? So there is a if you both speak, then actually you could get a big benefit, right? So if you both collaborate, you can probably raise the value in the negotiation. However, if the other side is willing to collaborate and tells what drives them, and I would withhold that information, basically I could cheat them and get a better deal. Then get the most of what they have to offer, but actually get an inferior deal of what we would get if we work together. However, if they betray me, I lose a lot of value. So there is this risk. If you are collaborative and the other side is not, I would get a deal that is not good. If you both collaborate, you get the best deal. But if the other side collaborates and I do not, I get the second best deal. So that's the trick in negotiation. How far can you go? How far can you trust each other, especially in the early stages, to be honest about what is important to them, to get the best deal for both of you. So you need to prioritize and associate. So your real base level is, okay, what is the minimum that I should get for my car? So the real base price is, I will set this as the minimum price that I need to get for my car, right? So that is the real base price. But what do I really want to get for my car? That is, okay, so my minimum base price is 3.2. And usually the minimum base price is what I could get if I would sell it to somebody else. So that is, if I have a bid for my car 3.2, and I actually want to sell it for 4, then if we are starting to negotiate, I would not tell you that what my BATNA is. You will try to figure it out, right? But I will basically say, well, I will ask you for 4 million, or maybe a little bit more, so that we can get to 4 million. And so that's actually one of the things. It's probably not a good idea to start at the price that you really want for this thing, because if you would actually buy for that, you would not feel that good, because you would always wonder, maybe I could have gotten a much better price. So when you're negotiating, always give the other side the impression that they are winning. Right, so don't try to be happy and gleeful when you're negotiating. So always give the other side the impression that they won, that they got the better deal. So since a deal always has multiple dimensions, it's not only price. It's not only price, but it's also about other things, other terms. You need to prioritize what is more important, what's less important for me. And when you start negotiating, basically you look at these drivers and you look at these different elements and you try to figure out, okay, what is important to them? Are my assumptions correct? And if they are, what can I give to them so that their value rises, and what can they give me in return? So you're looking for common ground in these early stages.